What's up guys, it's Mitch here. Welcome to a new video. You guys might already know this. If you're new to my channel and you don't, I'll explain really quickly. I've been mainly like a prime lens shooter over the last couple of years, which basically means I only use lenses with a fixed focal length. I don't really own any zoom lenses. However, over the last couple of years, I've been traveling heaps, especially internationally as a professional photographer and filmmaker. And that has presented me with a few problems. The first being that I can't carry on like 5 or 6 prime lenses. It's just too heavy for my carry-on luggage. So I end up having to check in some of my lenses. And obviously you guys might have experienced this before, but like looking out the plane window and seeing a baggage handler toss your luggage 3 feet in the air, when you know that you have expensive and fragile lenses in there is not a good situation. So after my last trip to New Zealand, it's really left me reconsidering whether I want to continue shooting primes or whether I want to look into getting a more versatile zoom lens that's really more suited to the kinds of work that I'm doing, especially a lot more work that involves travel. So you guys already know that I love the 35mm 1.4. It's like my favorite lens of all time. Stays on my camera 90% of the time. So I really wanted to get a lens that would complement that and allow me to get a bigger range of shots with just a single lens. Now I was looking into 24-70, 24-105. My friend who works at a camera store, he actually put me onto a lens that I'd never even heard of before, and not many people are talking about, and that is the relatively new Tamron 35-150 f2.8 to f4. Now I knew that I wanted to stay with the EF mount rather than going over to the RF mount. I'm on the EOS R, by the way, for photography, but my main video camera is the Blackmagic Pocket 6K, and that is an EF mount. So it makes sense to me to just have EF lenses because I can use them on my EOS R, I can use them on my Blackmagic, and I only need to take one set of lenses with me. Honestly, at first I was pretty skeptical of this lens, given its massive zoom range and the fact that it is a variable aperture, but I heard good things about it, so I decided to give it a go. I took this lens out last week on a shoot with my friend Lisa, and we got some really great stuff. I shot some photos, shot some videos, tried to use as much of the focal range as possible, just to give you guys a demonstration of what kind of things you can achieve. Now, this is not a sponsored video. I did buy the lens with my own money, so I will be sharing with you guys like the positives and the negatives of this lens and whether I think it's worth keeping in my bag for my upcoming trips. So as you guys can see, this lens is killer. I'm actually really stoked on the photos that we were able to get in the small amount of time that we had. So I'm really excited to shoot more with this lens. Now, you guys know I'm not the kind of YouTuber that's gonna shoot charts or pixel peep or anything. I'm basically gonna take this gear out, shoot it in a situation that I'm used to, and then give you guys my thoughts on what it's like. I'm gonna get into some of the details, and the first one being sharpness, because this was actually a big surprise to me. At all of the focal lengths that I tested and wide open on the aperture, this lens was really, really sharp. I'll let you guys be the judge. I'm gonna leave a couple of raw files down in the description. This is the first time I've ever done this, but I'll leave them down in the description. You guys can download the raw files and have a look for yourself. But I did a little side-by-side test with the Tamron 35mm 1.4, shot that lens also wide open. Now this lens is supposed to be one of the sharpest out there, so you can really see between these two. The Tamron 35-150 is doing a really great job wide open. Talking about the image stabilizer now, I found that this worked really good, although in this shoot we did have good light, so there wasn't really a reason to go any lower than, I'd say, 1/25th of a second on the shutter. However, just looking through the viewfinder, I noticed that it is rock solid. When shooting video, however, it is a little bit jumpy. I think this lens is more calibrated towards photography in terms of the image stabilizer. I did get fairly good results when pairing with the EOS R digital stabilization. However, with that turned off, it wasn't a very, smooth sort of action with the stabilization. However, not many lenses are. I just found that it was a little bit more jumpy than the other image stabilized lenses that I'd tried. The focus speed was another thing that really surprised me, given we were shooting in really good light. So you'd expect most lenses to be accurate and, fairly quick. However, I just really didn't notice a difference between this lens and any other third-party lens I'd used with my EOS R. It was really snappy, really quick, and I didn't really miss focus that often at all. In the video, the focus tracking was super smooth. There was no hunting. It didn't focus on the background or anything like that. It tracked the face perfectly. The EOS R is amazing, what can I say? But this lens, it really didn't miss a beat. Like, it was awesome. You can see it in the video. There's no jumpiness in the focus. There's no focus drifting. It was just bang on. Another downside that I noticed right now is vignetting. Vignetting is pretty strong wide open. However, if you're just shooting stills, obviously this is an easy fix. There's already a profile correction in Lightroom. But if you're shooting video, you do have to work a little bit harder to get rid of that vignette. So I would just keep that in mind as well. Another massive plus for this Tamron lens is the size and the weight. So if you guys can see this here, this is a super lightweight lens. Like, I'm pretty sure this is lighter than my 35mm 1.4. So given that it has such a massive zoom range and it's 2.8 as well on the wide end and f4 on the long end, I really expected this lens to be bigger and heavier than it actually is. Obviously, when you zoom it out, it is external zoom, so you are gonna get, the lens is gonna look a little bit bigger. However, when you're storing it, you just turn the hood upside down like this, and like that is pretty compact. I'm actually really happy with the size and weight of this lens. The overall goal is just to be able to carry on all my lenses. So this might actually replace 3 prime lenses, which could mean that I would achieve that goal. Tamron says that this lens is weather sealed throughout the barrel. So not only does it have this rubber gasket on the mount, but it also has weather sealing throughout. So that's a pretty good sign. It means that Tamron is taking their build quality seriously. Honestly, most lenses, even from the major manufacturers like Canon and Nikon these days, are made of plastic, and this is no exception. It is a pretty kind of cheap, to be honest, feeling plastic. However, you really have to use these lenses for like 6 months to a year to really understand how they're performing in terms of the build quality. When you pick up a Sigma lens, for example, like the Art Prime lenses, they're all made of metal. They're all like super well built. However, I have had issues with them in the past, specifically the mounts coming loose. So holding the lens in your hand and just like feeling it is not always an indicator of how durable it is. I might make a follow-up video and let you guys know how this lens is doing after a few months. So my initial thoughts after the shoot, honestly, this lens unlocked some creative capabilities for me. Now, just being able to zoom in and out and look for different compositions, I think was a massive bonus and something that I'd actually been missing out on only shooting primes. Because if you think about, you're in a situation, you have the option to, go into your bag, change to a different lens. It just seems like so much effort. And when I was shooting with a prime lens, I would just, walk back or walk forward. But using this lens, it really does unlock some kind of different kind of way of thinking. And I think that this will probably benefit my photography in the future. So I'm really excited to use this lens a little bit more. Will this replace some prime lenses? I actually think it might. I will consider getting rid of my 50, maybe my 100mm prime. 85 1.4, I'm not sure, because I do like the idea of having a fast telephoto lens, but it remains to be seen. It might actually replace 3 prime lenses for me. So that would be really exciting. If you guys are interested in knowing a little bit more about how I edit my photos, I'll leave a card on the end screen, so make sure you stick around to the end. Don't forget to check out the description for those raw files and also the link to the preset pack. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. I had a lot of fun making it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks once again, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.